Back in your event listener, you need to update the text of the result element. You can use ternary operator to achieve this task. And we have an example of it. So if the text content of the element L has a condition, it would execute this string which says use this text if the condition is true. Otherwise, it would execute this string use this text if the condition is false. Of course, it would only execute it if it's true, and this part is where it is execute. Pardon my French. It is where this part executes if it's false. And we have an explanation after the if statement. Use a ternary operator to check the truthiness. Truthiness. Truthiness is just basically how JavaScript perceives boolean. So if it is 0, that is considered falsy. If it is an empty string, that is also considered falsy. If it's null, also considered falsy. What else? Undefined, that's falsy. And the NaN, which is described as not a number, that's falsy. So if it's truthy, that's basically the opposite of falsy, of course. So if falsy is an empty string, so if that empty string is not an empty string, so we had a string of 1, string of hello, string of this, that would be considered as truthy. Also, if 0 has became or 0 has turned to 1, that is also considered as truthy. Now, the false and truthy would be an overall of the truthiness word of this. So, going back, it says to use a ternary operator to check the truthiness of isPam function with the message input that value as the argument. If it's true, set the text content property in the result element to, oh no, this looks like a spam message. Otherwise, this message does not seem to contain any spam. That's a little bit tiring. It says to do that with ternary operator, but where would we assign it? We know that we should assign that to the text content property of the result. So we type in the result first and then the property which would be the text content. And then assign it to the function, to the calling of spam function is spam, and within that would be the argument which would be the value of that message input element. So message input value, and then add a question mark to indicate that this would be the condition which is just assigned to the text content property of the result element. Now, if this condition is true, we should execute this string. Okay. And we enter a colon to indicate that otherwise it would execute this string. And it says to set a message input element to an empty string. I mean the value of message input element. So we type in the element first and then interpolate the value, which indicates the value of the message input element set to string. Nice.